Welcome back, where it has just gotten fun on Southeast Texas Weekly. The political debate getting hot and heavy here. Joining us, Godfrey Leggett, Democratic activist, to talk all about these aforementioned issues. Jeffery Lewis, Republican activist and Precinct 27 chair. Good to have you, sir.
Good to see you.
Good to have you,
nice
sir.
To be here.
And James Shannon with the Beaumont Business Journal staying with us for a good bit more fisticuffs. Herman Cain blames the liberal media about his troubles. Says it's the liberal media's fault, and then ends up somehow skating out of what anybody would generally conceive to be the end of their political career. Understand, Gary Hart didn't get very much farther after monkey business. So these things have ruined campaigns before. It doesn't seem to be happening here. Is it the liberal media's fault, and will he survive?
They haven't quite nailed him as badly as they did Gary Hart, but sooner or later it's coming. Now, the question is, will some of his core supporters stick with him even after that happens? I don't know.
Wait, who are his core supporters? I have no idea. Who's the constituency?
He's a one-trick pony anyway. I mean, you know.
Is he a one-trick pony? This is the, you know, the plausible nominee of the Republican Party.
It's plausible nominee. Do I think he's going to get nomination at this point? That seems that there's a lot of news still to come. We got 2 months or so before the first voting begins, and
is he sunk?
That's a political eternity. I don't think he's sunk at this point. We saw in his debate performance when he was asked about it, he handled the issue admirably. And in fact, the moderator was in fact booed for asking inane questions in regards, especially trying to draw Mitt Romney into the affair.
Does it possibly put the Republican Party at risk, exposed anyway, to nominate a Herman Cain, and then, as James Shannon,
well, even if the allegations are true, I mean, we've had presidents that have had inappropriate relations in the White House. They were like 2 terms and just build on those last segments. It's the most successful president ever.
This is the party of the good people that don't do things like that.
So you admit that your party's bad? Okay.
No, I'm saying that you guys think you're holier than that.
No,
okay?
The question is did he do it? He says he didn't, so we have to give his arguments equal opportunity with those that are saying that he made these allegations.
James,
I agree with the problem that it's
he can't possibly be referencing modern presidents. He must be referencing John F. Kennedy. There's no way he could possibly be referencing
it goes
impropriety.
Who was the president in the 19th century that supposedly fathered an illegitimate child, leading his opponents to chant, "Ma, Ma, where's my paw?" Gone to the White House.
This has been going on a long time.
Nothing new under the sun.
It's just we didn't hear about it so soon.
Right.
We do now.
I wasn't around for that.
You weren't around for the Clinton administration, as we discovered last time. You were in grade school. Right, okay. One of the things that strikes me about this outright denial, which I think is where Cain's going to fall, because, you know, this is no more plausible that they went back in a time machine and inserted these complaints and the settlements paid by Cain's boss, what, 14, 11, 12, however long ago it was. Nobody had any idea he would be a nominee. The idea that, you know, somehow Democratic operatives did this, not real. And he stands up and denies it. Sooner or later, these women are going to come forward, and the issue will become not just what he did, whether it was...
Would you advise Herman Cain to drop out?
At this point, no. Let's see what happens.
And I have a follow-up question.
Yeah, well,
but you're saying because we don't have any proof at this point.
Well, to elaborate, the one fact we do know about one of the allegations is that the lady in question actually is, I believe, shares an apartment building with David Axelrod. So that some of the links there actually sound a little bit suspicious. Now, does that mean it's legitimate or not? We don't know.
Axelrod, if people don't know, he was the chief political advisor for the Obama campaign and is now in Chicago working on the next campaign. What possible motive could he have for doing that? First of all, Ms. Bialik says she does not know.
What possible motive could a sitting Democratic president have for maligning a presidential candidate from the Republican Party?
A fringe candidate who they would love to run against.
Mitt Romney, that's a different matter. Mitt Romney's a different matter.
And they may view as a threat. We don't know the workings of the Obama administration.
Let's look at who these polls are. These polls are Republican likely primary voters, heavily dominated by evangelicals and the Tea Party. So to say they skew somewhat to the right of the population as a whole is an understatement. The
Republican primary poll, yes, and that's what we're focused on, is the Republican primary at this point. They're looking ahead and seeing who the eventual nominee may be, and they've obviously viewed other candidates such as Mitt Romney as a threat.
If Kaine looks like he's anywhere near getting the nomination, it will be Republican operatives that take him down, because they know they can't win a national election with Herman Cain at the top of the ticket.
This is going to be bloody for them if they try and hang on to him. It really is.
I'm not going to question whether or not he's going to be a candidate in the fall. We have to see. We don't know who the candidates are going to be. That's why we have the process to see who's going to rise.
My question to you quickly, with Governor McPerry, would you, if advising him, would you ask him to, would you advise him to step away from the race at this point? I know he has $17 million, but just in terms of whether he can win.
Forget the $17 million. It's not going to matter if you continue to have performances like that. I'm sorry. That was really, really dismal for Perry supporters. We actually got a mass email the next day talking about, well, we've all had bad moments on history, and here's some other stuff that's gone on, referencing Obama's 57 states, and ask for money in the process. And all I can sit here and think is, that was not good, folks. That was really not good.
For him, and I can remember them. Practice, practice, practice.
Yeah. I'll give you a short version of where we're headed on this. Where we go from here is the likelihood is that Perry fades off. You're going to see,
and Newt Gingrich is the nominee.
And Newt Gingrich is likely to inherit that support, which is interesting because his staff left for the Perry camp, right around that time, and you're going to see, I think, some of the support. We're already starting to see maybe a little bit of Herman Cain support lead off. I think Gingrich is going to inherit that support, and it will actually be a Gingrich-Romney race.
2 minutes. Quickly to Ohio. The Ohio vote to limit the bargaining power of the public sector union workers. It really just opened an entire can of worms, that Ohio race. What did you see there? What do you find meaningful?
It's a pretty good contrast with what's going on at the state level between states in Wisconsin, where that has been successful, as opposed to Ohio, where the voters rejected around 55%. So I think what you saw coming out of Ohio is we don't want a whole lot of overreach. They felt that the union, some of the provisions there, especially the fire and police chief, police workers being included with that, really triggered a lot of backlash towards it. They felt that was some overreach on front of the Republican side.
And Governor Kasich even backed away.
And they're backing away from that. I think politically that's a good move for them coming in.
We have so many
that's countered with the other side.
You know, by the time Kasich backed away, the Titanic had already hit the iceberg. He didn't want to go down there. Listen, I've reported on labor issues for 25 years, and I'll tell you this: the victory in Ohio for the union forces is all the more remarkable because the American people are against a raise in pay for anybody except themselves.
That's correct.
But they knew these guys had been done dirty, and a lot of the time it's people they knew. It's the fireman, the policeman, the librarian, folks that they know. So they have a hard time accepting the characterization.
But Ohio is a traditionally strong union state, and that's one of the reasons that I think that within the state that they're so ready to be a little bit more amenable towards the interest there.
Occupy movement now, that actually has some organization and a thought process.
Now, I think what the big good counter of that is what else happened in Ohio was the rejection of the Obama, the individual mandates.
Affordable Care Act.
And I think that's really going to be an interesting play. They don't like that kind of overreach coming from Washington. They don't like some of the own overreach coming from the state capital. So I think it's going to be who wins in that debate is going to will be the candidate that comes across as the most centrist. We already have the jury out. We already had the jury back in what they think of Obama. Okay. The question is, how will they respond to the eventual Republican nominee?
Take comfort while you can. When we go into the campaign next year, and all the president's got to ask is, which elements of the Affordable Care Act do you want? Do you want the insurance companies to be able to drop you, bar you from a pre-existing condition, make you strike your kids from your insurance? There's so many things in that act.
There's the music. As you can tell, we have to leave it there. To be continued at Blaine's Barbershop.
I'm looking forward to it.
Thanks so much to all you guys. It's been great as always. Thanks for joining us on Southeast Texas Weekly. We'll see you next time right here.
Erica Harris, 12 News HD.